My son slapped me across the face 3 hours after we buried my husband and said, "This isn't your home anymore. Get out." His handprint was still burning on my cheek when I walked to my car, drove to my lawyer's office, and signed papers that would change everything. He changed the locks that night at 11:47 p.m. I have the Ring camera footage. By 8:15 a.m. the next morning, those locks still worked, but the bank account didn't. Neither did the electricity, or the water, or his smug certainty that the house was his. This is what happened when my son forgot that grief doesn't transfer property rights. My name is Catherine Elizabeth Morrison. I'm 61 years old. For 38 years, I lived in a craftsman-style house on Maple Street in Portland, Oregon with my husband David. We bought it in 1985 for $89,000. By 2023, it was worth $1.2 million. David died of a heart attack on October 3, 2023. We buried him on October 6. My son physically assaulted me and threw me out on October 6 at 6:47 p.m. By October 7 at noon, he'd learned a lesson about assumptions. Let me take you back to the beginning so you understand exactly how we got here. David and I met in 1983. I was 21, working as a dental hygienist. He was 24, doing residential electrical work. We married in 1984 at the courthouse with $200 in our joint checking account and dreams bigger than our budget. Our son Marcus was born in 1986. Healthy, 10 fingers, 10 toes. The center of our universe from day one. We bought the house on Maple Street when Marcus was 6 months old. A fixer-upper in a neighborhood that was up and coming, which is realtor code for not great yet, but we swear it will be. 1,400 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a kitchen from the 1960s, and a yard full of blackberry bushes. David and I spent 18 years renovating that house ourselves. We added a master suite in 1992, finished the basement in 1998, updated the kitchen in 2003, landscaped the yard in 2006. Every nail, every tile, every coat of paint, our hands, our sweat, our marriage. We paid off the mortgage in 2015, threw a party in the backyard. Marcus was 29 then, recently graduated from Portland State with a degree in business management and 3 months into his first real job at a marketing firm. He brought his girlfriend Amber. They'd been dating for 4 months. She wore designer sunglasses and complained about the music being too retro. I should have seen it then. By 2016, Marcus and Amber were engaged. By 2017, they were married. By 2018, they had a daughter they named Skylar. By 2019, Amber had convinced Marcus that their 850 square foot apartment in Beaverton wasn't suitable for a growing family. "We need more space," Marcus said over Sunday dinner in March 2019. "But houses in Portland are insane. We're looking at $600,000 for anything decent." David and I exchanged a glance. We'd had this conversation privately for months. "We've been talking," David said. "This house is too big for just the two of us now. Maybe we could work something out." Marcus leaned forward. "Like what?" "We could add you to the deed," I said carefully. "When we pass, the house transfers to you automatically. No probate. No complications." "That's generous, Mom, but we need space now. Not in 30 years. "We're aware," David smiled. What if we formalize it? Add you to the deed now as joint tenant with right of survivorship. When we're both gone, the house is yours outright. But while we're alive, we all share it. Share it how? You and Amber and Skylar could have the entire second floor and the finished basement. That's essentially 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a living space. Your own private section. Dad and I keep the main floor. I watched Marcus calculate. What about expenses? We keep paying property taxes and insurance since we're retired and you're still building your career, David said. You cover your own utilities usage. We split major repairs based on percentage of space used. Can I talk to Amber? 3 weeks later, Marcus and Amber moved in. They took the master suite we'd built, the basement rec room, and the second bedroom for Skylar. David and I moved into the original smaller bedroom on the main floor. We updated the deed on April 15, 2019. The document listed property owners: David James Morrison, 1/3 interest. Catherine Elizabeth Morrison, 1/3 interest. Marcus David Morrison, 1/3 interest. With right of survivorship, meaning when one owner died, their share automatically transferred to the surviving owners. This is just paperwork, our lawyer Barbara explained. Legally you all own the house equally, but realistically, David and Catherine, you maintain control until both of you pass. Then Marcus inherits the full property. We all signed. Marcus hugged us. Thanks, Mom. Dad. This is amazing. Really. For the first year, it worked. We had family dinners twice a week. I watched Skylar every Tuesday while Amber did yoga. David helped Marcus build a deck in the backyard. Then small things started shifting. Amber complained about the kitchen being dated even though we'd renovated it in 2003. Marcus mentioned we should really update to smart home technology. Amber suggested we declutter because all this old furniture makes the house feel smaller. By 2021, family dinners became monthly, then sporadic. Amber stopped making eye contact with me. Marcus became distant. They started eating upstairs, treating the main floor like they were visiting relatives instead of family. In January 2023, Marcus brought up the property taxes. You know, Dad, these taxes keep going up. It's getting to be a lot. Maybe we should discuss a more equitable split of expenses. We're paying them, David said evenly. Same as we agreed. Right. But you guys are retired. Your income is fixed. We're in our earning years. Maybe we should revisit the arrangement. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. Marcus, are you saying you want us to pay rent? Not rent, Mom. Just a more fair distribution of costs. David squeezed my hand under the table. We'll think about it. We didn't change anything. And Marcus started avoiding us completely. By summer 2023, they barely acknowledged us. Amber would walk past me in the kitchen without speaking. Marcus stopped helping with yard work. Skylar, now 5, was told to play quietly upstairs because Grandma and Grandpa are sleeping even at 3 p.m. David noticed. Something shifted, he told me in August. Marcus is looking at us differently. Like we're in his way. It's our house, David. Legally, it's partially his house now. We need to be careful. I called our lawyer Barbara on September 1st. If we wanted to remove Marcus from the deed, could we? Not without his agreement. He owns a third. You'd need him to sign a quitclaim deed transferring his interest back to you. And he'd never do that. Probably not. Catherine, why are you asking? Just planning ahead. Be careful. Joint tenancy can create complicated family dynamics. I wish I'd pushed harder on that conversation. David died on October 3, 2023. Massive heart attack while mowing the lawn. He was 64 years old. Alive at 2:14 p.m., dead at 2:37 p.m. The paramedics tried for 23 minutes. I watched from the porch. Marcus arrived at the hospital an hour after David was pronounced dead. Amber wasn't with him. He hugged me. Said, "I'm so sorry, Mom." But his eyes were already calculating something. The funeral was October 6, small service. David's brother flew in from Chicago. My sister came from Seattle. 40 people total. Marcus gave a eulogy about what a great father David was. He cried. It looked real. After the service, everyone came back to the house. Standard post-funeral gathering. Deli sandwiches. Pasta salad. People told stories. David's brother got drunk and laughed too loud. My sister helped me wash dishes. By 6:30 p.m., everyone had left except Marcus, Amber, and Skylar. I was standing in the kitchen putting away the last of the dishes when Marcus walked in. His face was different. Harder. Mom, we need to talk. Okay. Let me just finish. Now. I dried my hands. Followed him to the living room. Amber was sitting on the couch, arms crossed. Skylar was upstairs. What's this about? I asked. Marcus didn't sit. The house. We need to discuss the house. Marcus, your father just died today. Can this wait? No. It can't. Because things are different now. I sat down slowly. Different how? Dad's gone. Which means his third of the property transfers to me and you. We're now 2/3, 1/3 owners. My lawyer brain kicked in even through grief. That's not how it works. I now own David's third. We're 50-50, you and me. No. Amber spoke up. We checked. Right of survivorship splits equally among remaining owners. That's not, I started to say, but Marcus interrupted. It doesn't matter. What matters is you're alone now and this house is too big for one person. I'm not leaving my home. Actually, you are. His voice went cold. Amber and I have been discussing this. We need the full house now. Skylar needs more space. We're planning another baby. You can't stay here. I felt like I was falling. Marcus, we buried your father 3 hours ago. Which is why we're having this conversation now. Before you get too settled in some fantasy where you keep living here alone. This is my house. It's my house. Marcus stepped closer. My name is on the deed. I own at least half of it, probably more now that Dad's gone. And I'm telling you, you need to leave. Amber stood up. We've already looked into senior living facilities. There are some nice ones in Beaverton. Assisted living, very affordable. I'm 61 years old. I don't need assisted living. You're alone now, Marcus said. You can't maintain this place by yourself. I've been maintaining it for 38 years. With Dad's help. He's gone. You're alone. The house should go to the family that can actually use it. I am your family. You're one person, Mom. We're a family of 3, soon to be 4. Do the math. I stood up. Get out. Both of you. I'm grieving and you're talking about kicking me out of my home on the day I buried my husband. Marcus grabbed my arm. Hard. You're not listening. I tried to pull away. Let go of me. This isn't your home anymore. Marcus, you're hurting me. His hand flew up and connected with my face. Open palm. Right cheek. The sound cracked through the room. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Marcus leaned in close, his voice low and vicious. This isn't your home anymore. Get out. Amber's voice came from behind him. Marcus, maybe we should. No. She needs to understand. Mom, you have until tomorrow morning to pack a bag and leave. Otherwise I'll call the police and have you removed for trespassing. Trespassing? In my own MY house. His finger jabbed toward my face. My house. Now get the fuck out. I looked at him. This man I'd carried for 9 months. Nursed through colic. Taught to ride a bike. Put through college. Given a home to when he needed it. This stranger wearing my son's face. I walked past him to the bedroom. Put some clothes in a suitcase. My medications. My laptop. The photo of David from our wedding day. Marcus followed me. Good. You're being smart. I didn't respond. Didn't look at him. Grabbed my purse. My keys. Walked to my car. As I backed out of the driveway, I saw him in the doorway. Arms crossed. Watching to make sure I actually left. The side of my face still burned where he'd hit me. I drove to the Marriott on SW NATO Parkway. Checked in. Room 412. Laid on the bed fully clothed and stared at the ceiling. At 11:47 p.m., my phone buzzed. A notification from the Ring doorbell, the one David had installed last year that was linked to my phone. I opened the app. Watched Marcus in night vision using a screwdriver to change the locks on the front door. I took a screenshot. Saved the video file. Then I made a phone call. Barbara? It's Catherine Morrison. I'm sorry to call so late. I need you to meet me first thing tomorrow morning. Something's happened. I slept 4 hours. Woke at 5:30 a.m. showered. Put on the black dress I'd worn to the funeral. Drove to Barbara's office and waited in the parking lot until she arrived at 7:15 a.m. Catherine? Are you okay? You sounded. She stopped when she saw my face. The bruise had bloomed overnight. Purple and red. Unmistakable handprint pattern. Did someone hit you? My son. Yesterday evening. 3 hours after we buried David. Her face went hard. Tell me everything. I did. Every word. Every threat. Showed her the Ring footage of him changing the locks. When I finished, Barbara sat back. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. She pulled up the property deed on her computer. Read through it carefully. Marcus is wrong about the survivorship split. David's third transfers entirely to you as his spouse. You and Marcus are now 50-50 owners. But he's also committed assault and illegal eviction. We're going nuclear. What does that mean? It means we're removing him from the property immediately and filing for a restraining order. Can we do that? He owns half. He owns half. You own half. But he committed domestic violence against a co-owner and illegally changed locks to deny you access. That's criminal. As the remaining original owner and assault victim, you have grounds to file for exclusive occupancy pending resolution. She started typing. We're also going to file a partition action. Force the sale of the property or a buyout. He wants to play hardball? We'll play harder. But the house. Catherine, you can't live with someone who hit you. We need to get you back in and him out, or force a sale where you both walk away. Those are your options. How fast can we move? Give me 3 hours. By 10:30 a.m., Barbara had filed emergency motions with the court. Exclusive occupancy order. Restraining order. Partition action. Now, she said, handing me papers, we go to the house with a police escort and you reclaim your property. At 11:04 a.m., I pulled up to my house on Maple Street with Barbara and 2 police officers. Marcus's car was in the driveway. The new locks were shiny and bright on the doors. Officer Williams knocked. Marcus answered, annoyed. What's this about? Mr. Morrison? I'm Officer Williams. We have a court order granting Mrs. Morrison exclusive occupancy of this property and a temporary restraining order requiring you to stay at least 500 feet away from her. Marcus's face went white. What? This is my house. Sir, according to property records, you own 50%. Mrs. Morrison owns 50%. She's filed assault charges for the incident yesterday and has evidence you illegally changed locks to prevent her access. She has a legal right to be here. You need to vacate immediately. You can't kick me out of my own house. Actually, we can. You have 1 hour to gather essential belongings. The full restraining order hearing is scheduled for next week. I watched Marcus's face cycle through emotions. Shock, anger, disbelief, then calculation. Mom, come on. We can talk about this. Officer Williams stepped between us. No contact, sir. That's part of the order. Marcus looked at Amber, who'd appeared in the doorway holding Skylar. This is insane. She's having some kind of grief breakdown. Sir, you need to start packing. Barbara stepped forward. I'm Mrs. Morrison's attorney. Your belongings will be stored safely, but you need to leave. Now. They packed. Amber crying. Marcus stone-faced. Skylar asking why they had to leave. At 12:17 p.m., they drove away. I stood on my porch, and watched them go. Then I walked into my house. My home. Locked the door behind me. And called the bank. Hi, this is Catherine Morrison calling about the joint checking account ending in 4739. I need to remove Marcus Morrison as an authorized user and change all access credentials. I'm sorry for your loss, Mrs. Morrison. I see here that David Morrison passed recently. Yes. And I'm now the sole surviving owner of that account. Marcus Morrison should never have been on it in the first place. Can we fix that now? Absolutely. I'm making those changes right now. New debit card will arrive in 7 to 10 days. Perfect. And I need to do the same for the savings account, the household expense account, and the utility payment autodraft account. By 1 p.m., Marcus was locked out of every financial account connected to the house. At 1:30 p.m., I called the utility companies. Hi, I need to update the account holder information and change the payment method for this address. Portland General Electric. Updated. City of Portland Water Bureau. Updated. Northwest Natural Gas. Updated. Internet provider. Updated. Garbage service. Updated. By 2 p.m., every utility was solely in my name with my personal payment information. At 2:15 p.m., I changed the Wi-Fi password. At 2:30 p.m., I sat down at the kitchen table with a cup of tea and waited. The first text came at 3:47 p.m. Marcus, what did you do to the bank accounts? I didn't respond. Marcus, Mom, seriously. My card is declining. What's going on? Silence. Marcus, this is illegal. You can't lock me out of joint accounts. I sipped my tea. Marcus, I'm calling the bank. Good luck with that. At 5:52 p.m., Amber texted from her phone. Amber, Catherine, we can't access any of the household accounts. Marcus says you locked us out. We need to pay for the hotel and groceries. Can you please fix this? Me. Marcus told me this wasn't my home anymore. I'm simply respecting his wishes regarding what's mine versus what's his. Amber, you're being petty. Me. I'm being assaulted and evicted by my son 3 hours after burying my husband. I'm being protective of my assets. No response. At 8:14 p.m., Marcus called. I let it ring out. He called 6 more times. Left 3 voicemails, each progressively more angry. Mom, this is ridiculous. I'm part owner of that house. You can't lock me out of everything. You're going to regret this. I have lawyers too. Fine. If this is how you want to play it, we'll force the sale of the house. And you can take your half and live in some shitty apartment. Happy now. I saved every voicemail. That night I slept in my own bed. In my own house. On the main floor that David and I had shared. The room was quiet. Too quiet. But it was mine. The next morning, Marcus showed up at 7:23 a.m. Saw him on the Ring camera. Started pounding on the door. Mom! Open up. We need to talk. I called 911. This is Catherine Morrison at 2847 Maple Street. My son has a restraining order against him and is currently on my property violating it. Police arrived in 8 minutes. Marcus was still there, arguing that he owned the house too. Sir, you're violating a court order. You need to leave immediately or you'll be arrested. This is MY House. Sir, you're under arrest for violation of a restraining order. I watched through the window as they put him in handcuffs. Amber pulled up just as they were putting him in the patrol car. Started screaming at the officers. The neighbors were watching now. Mrs. Patterson from next door. The Chens from across the street. Everyone seeing Marcus Morrison arrested in front of the house he'd claimed was his. The restraining order hearing was the following Tuesday, October 10, 2023. Marcus showed up with a lawyer. Some guy in an expensive suit who looked fresh out of law school. Barbara presented evidence. The Ring footage of Marcus hitting me. Screenshots of his texts. Recordings of his voicemails threatening to force the sale. Your Honor, Barbara said calmly, Mr. Morrison physically assaulted his mother 3 hours after she buried her husband. He then illegally evicted her and changed the locks. When she legally reclaimed her property, He violated the protective order. This is a clear pattern of abuse and property theft. Marcus's lawyer stood. Your Honor, this is a property dispute, not domestic violence. My client owns 50% of this home. He has every right. He has no right, Barbara cut in, to assault anyone. And he has no right to unilaterally change locks on a jointly owned property without the other owner's consent. The judge looked at Marcus. Did you strike your mother? It was barely a slap. That's a yes. Did you change the locks without her permission? I own half the house. That's also a yes. The judge looked at the papers. Restraining order is extended for 1 year. Mr. Morrison, you are prohibited from coming within 500 feet of your mother or the property. Any violation will result in immediate arrest. Marcus's lawyer tried to argue. Your Honor, my client lives in that house with his wife and child. Not anymore, he doesn't. Next case. Marcus stood up, face red. This is bullshit. That's my house. Mr. Morrison, one more outburst and I'll hold you in contempt. Sit down or leave. He left. Amber followed, crying. Barbara turned to me. Okay. Next phase. We push for partition by appraisal. You buy him out or he buys you out. If neither can afford it, forced sale. I want him out completely. Then we get the house appraised and you buy his half. Can you afford that? I did the math. House worth $1.2 million. His half, $600,000. I had David's life insurance, $400,000. I had our savings, $150,000. I had my retirement account, $180,000. I could do it. Yes, I can afford it. Then let's make it happen. The partition action took 6 weeks. The house was appraised at $1,247,000. Marcus's 50%, $623,500. I offered him $620,000 cash. Final offer. His lawyer called Barbara. My client wants $700,000. Your client assaulted his mother and illegally evicted her. He's lucky we're offering anything. $620,000 or we go to court and he explains to a judge why he hit his widowed mother at his father's funeral. 3 days later, Marcus agreed. I liquidated everything. Life insurance. Savings. Cashed out part of my retirement. On November 18, 2023, I handed Marcus a cashier's check for $620,000. He didn't look at me. Didn't speak. Just took the check and left. Barbara had him sign a quit-claim deed transferring his entire interest in the property to me. On November 18, 2023 at 2:47 p.m., I became the sole owner of 2847 Maple Street. I sat in that house, my house, and cried. Not from sadness. From relief. From freedom. From the knowledge that David's memory wasn't going to be erased by our son's greed. Marcus texted once more. December 3, 2023. Marcus, I hope you're happy. You destroyed our family over a house. I stared at that message for a long time. Then typed. Me? I didn't destroy anything, Marcus. You slapped me 3 hours after we buried your father and told me to get out of my own home. You changed the locks. You called me a trespasser. You violated a restraining order. Every single consequence you're facing is the result of your own choices. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Marcus, you turned me into a villain. Me? No, son. You did that yourself. I blocked his number. Haven't unblocked it since. 3 months later, Amber filed for divorce. Apparently using $620,000 to lease a luxury apartment and buy a Tesla instead of investing it or buying a new house was the final straw. Marcus lost custody of Skylar. Joint visitation only. Amber got primary custody and moved back to California where her parents live. The money's gone now. I heard through mutual acquaintances that Marcus blew through it in 8 months. The Tesla's been repossessed. He's living with a roommate in Beaverton. And me? I'm still in the house on Maple Street. I turned Marcus's old room into a home office. Painted it yellow. Put in a desk David built in 1997. I work there every morning, tutoring English online. I turned Amber's space into a guest room. My sister visits once a month. David's brother came for Thanksgiving. The house is quiet, but it's mine. Sometimes I stand in the kitchen where David died doing dishes and I talk to him. I'm sorry, I tell him. I'm sorry Marcus turned out like this. And I swear I can hear David's voice. You did what you had to do. I'm proud of you. The bruise faded after 2 weeks. But the lesson stayed. People will take everything from you if you let them. Even people you gave life to. Even people you die for. They'll take your home, your security, your dignity, and they'll tell you it's for your own good. But property rights don't care about assumptions. Banks don't care about entitlement. And locks only work if you control the keys. Marcus thought slapping me would make me submit. Thought grief would make me weak. Thought changing the locks would make the house his. He forgot that I built that house. Every renovation. Every repair. Every mortgage payment for 30 years. My name was on everything that mattered. And when he tried to take it, I took it back. If this story resonates with you, if you've ever been told to leave your own home, if you've ever been assaulted by someone who was supposed to love you, if you've ever had to fight for what's legally yours, I need you to understand something. You are not powerless. You are not weak. You are not wrong for protecting yourself. Subscribe to this channel. We tell the stories nobody wants to hear. The stories about mothers who get discarded. About women who fight back. About people who refuse to be victims. Comment below and tell me, what would you have done? Would you have left when Marcus told you to? Would you have fought back? Tell me where you're watching from and what part of this story hit you hardest. Share this video. Because somewhere right now, there's a mother being told she's a burden in the home she built. There's a widow being pushed out by ungrateful children. There's a woman who thinks she has to accept abuse because it's family. They need to see this. They need to know that property rights matter. That documentation matters. That you don't have to accept being erased just because someone demands it. I'm 61 years old. I'm a widow. I'm alone in a 1,400 square foot house that's too big for one person. But it's my house. And nobody will ever take it from me again. Subscribe. Comment. Share. And remember, the locks on your door only matter if your name is on the deed. Hit that subscribe button right now. Leave your story in the comments. And let's build a community of people who know their worth and refuse to be pushed out of the lives they built. You deserve to stay. You always did.